When a new Star Citizen ship is announced, there seems to be an unwritten rule that it has to be sufficiently unique, powerful, or multi-role to distinguish it from other purchase options. But after the initial flurry of sales, there can be nerfs or clarifications of purpose that slowly bring that ship back into line with the rest of the balance. One of the most recently announced Star Citizen ships was the MISC Odyssey exploration ship, which was initially, and somewhat unfortunately, described as a carrack killer, which begs the question, do Star Citizen ships all still have a distinct identity and rationale, or has the rush to create ship after ship to keep funds rolling in overtaken common sense? I'm Forrester, and in this video we'll explore that idea. I regularly share Star Citizen videos on my YouTube channel, so if this kind of video sounds like something you'd like to see more of, you might like to press that subscribe button so you know when new videos go live. So, carrack killer comment aside, it's really not unusual for newly released ships to be some of the most powerful ships in the game. An example might be the Redeemer, or the Ares starfighter, both of which push the envelope in terms of combat performance. Maybe it's a little cynical, but over the years my perception is that ships are often incredibly useful on first release, only to be balanced later. But both of these examples, the Ares and the Redeemer, they do offer something slightly different. The Ares is not necessarily better than smaller combat ships, it just competes in a different space. And that's okay if there's a rock, paper, scissors type mechanic at play. It gives each ship a purpose, its own place in the wider hierarchy. And even stylistic differences between ships to account for taste feels like it has a good function. I've always appreciated how different people can have different preference for ships. For example, the 400i, which I can't abide, is pretty popular amongst the community. And those minor trade-offs or cosmetic differences make for variety in the universe. All good so far. All of that said, the Ares Ion has attracted a lot of attention for being incredibly strong on release, and subsequently brought back in line closer to what it's supposed to be, not so much for killing light fighters, but more for dealing damage to heavier ships. But in the course of that balancing, many ship owners who forked out real money for this thing have expressed a feeling that the Ion has lost its identity in the process. But perhaps when that goes too far is when we see a release like the Odyssey. Let me be clear, the ship sounds really interesting. An exploration ship with everything on board and a substantial hangar bay is very appealing. The challenge is that when you look at the ship on paper, it seems to be objectively better than the carrack for a mostly similar price. It would have been great to see more on launch about what separates the two, what gives each a distinct identity. For example, maybe the carrack could be much more battle hardened or better at finding new jump routes, or maybe have much more powerful sensors. But that really wasn't clear, certainly on the initial press release, with the incredibly unfortunate suggestion that the Odyssey is a carrack killer, that it just beats the carrack in every regard. Is that power creep purely to drive sales? Or is that a little unfair? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, in which case you might hit that like button so I know what sort of thing you're finding most interesting to watch. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and as ever, thank you for watching.